Hey there, book lovers. I'm Haley.
And I'm McCayleigh. Welcome to Two Chicks and a Plot Twist,
The official podcast for the Facebook group, All Things Book Related.
We're two besties who are here to share our love for unforgettable characters, unpredictable storylines, and the books we just can't put down.
From our all-time favorites to the latest releases, we're bringing you deep dives, hot takes, and maybe a little friendly disagreement.
So grab your favorite read and let's get ready for some bookish fun.
Hey everyone, and welcome back to Two Chicks and a Plot Twist. We are so glad that you're here with us today. We have got a super fun episode planned for you guys, and I am so excited for this one.
That's right. It's time for a Court of Thorns and Roses series breakdown.
Yes! So if you haven't read these books yet or this series, you may want to skip out on this episode and join us next week. This episode is going to be filled with spoilers.
And because we love to cause chaos, we're adding a few hypothetical questions to the mix.
It's going to be emotional, dramatic, and probably a little messy, but we're ready for it. Let's settle in. This is going to be a fun one.
Yes, we can't wait for you guys to hear our thoughts. But before we kick things off, Haley, how have you been?
I have been good. We have had 2 snowstorms here in the past 2 weeks, and we've been off of school and off of work for so long, and I'm like, what day even is it now? It snowed more last night, so it's been kind of crazy. I started my new semester, my last semester, fingers crossed.
Yay! How did
Yes.
your winter semester go? How did that end? All smooth?
Guys, I crapped on it for like the whole time. I got an A in it. I got 100 on every single paper I turned in, all of my quizzes, my exam. I don't know why I crapped on it so much. Maybe because I just didn't want to do it, but it was pretty easy.
Wow!
I don't know. But now I'm in my last semester, so, well, hopefully my last. So I'm supposed to graduate in May, but that's about it. McCayleigh and I both watched Epic, the musical. It was so good.
Yes, I've been listening to the music on repeat ever since I watched it, and Christian is singing the songs now. He didn't watch it with me, but he's singing the songs, and I'm so proud. I'm so glad you know this. But I made a bullet point list of things I want to talk about. Did you? I was like, I always forget what I want to talk about, so I need to like bring them up.
Well, with Epic the musical, me and my boyfriend Edgar, we have been listening to the songs for a year and a half, and I guess we never correlated that it was actually to a musical. I think Edgar introduced it to me, and I think he said he found it on TikTok. And we used to listen to those songs all of the time, and I just thought that they were cool, Greek, nerdy songs that we could just nerd out to together. But it was actually an animated musical, and it was so beautiful, and I didn't think that we would cry, but I cried so many times, and it's just an animated show, but it was so good.
Yeah, I was obsessed. Like, I just binge watched the whole thing, because each song is its own episode on YouTube, and so I just watched it all, like, up until 2 a.m. one morning. Oh, it's so good. But how has your writing been going? Tell me a little about that.
I told McCayleigh that I would write on it yesterday. I didn't even look at my computer yesterday.
That's okay.
I got the first 2 chapters roughly drafted, but Edgar keeps coming up with all of these amazing ideas, and I'm like, okay, now I need to start all the way over because his ideas will change the whole story, how I've got it mapped out in my head. So now I'm redoing everything.
Oh my god, do you want to talk about what it's about, or you don't want to spoil the surprise?
I don't know if we should leave it in, but I'll tell you.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Do you think we should leave it in?
If you want to give like a base, you know.
This is basically what it is. So there was this art that I saw online, probably TikTok or Instagram one day, and it was this young woman spooling yarn on one of those little things, you know what I'm talking about, like in Sleeping Beauty. Yeah. This is such a beautiful art. I wonder how this would be if it was like a fantasy aspect. So there's this idea that I have in my mind since I saw that, and it's basically that this girl has some sort of magical powers that she's able to put into these pieces of fabric. So for example, if she does a shirt with her magic, it'll help the soldiers in her army that she's working for not get frostbite.
That's cool.
So that was my idea, and then Edgar came in with something totally different that's not at all like that. Edgar was talking to me and he was like, What if you did it to where she makes clothes for like babies in her little village and all of these babies are having all of these powers, da da da, and no one knows what it's from? I was like, oh, that's so cool. Let me look at that and try and combine the two. But that's very roughly what I've been thinking about.
That's such a unique take. I love it. What?
Thank you.
I don't know if that's ever been done. I doubt it. That's crazy.
I don't think I've ever seen it before, but it would probably be young adult fantasy. I don't see it being adult fantasy, but that's kind of my basic.
I love it. I'm obsessed already.
Speaking of writing, I know you have got some big news with your book.
Yes, yeah, we just dropped the cover reveal, and it's releasing June 30th, and that's a few months away, but it's gonna give me plenty of time to have it, just perfect, just right.
Yeah.
ARC signups are now open. A few will be selected to receive PR boxes, PR bundles. So go ahead, head over to my Instagram, find that post. It's pinned at the top of my profile, and you can sign up. And I'm looking at everyone's Instagram profiles to see who will receive a PR box. I'm not really looking so much at follower count. I'm looking at who's active, who's getting, engaging and receiving engagement. That's what I want. So don't be worried if you only have like 100 followers. No, I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
And then, dude, after our last recording, I got the flu or something. Mm-hmm. It knocked me out, and my voice has just changed. And it's not gone back. It's deeper to me. Well, to me now. It might sound the same to everyone else. But it messed me up. I went to urgent care 2 days in a row because the first time I tested negative for everything. So they just were like, okay, on your way. And then the second day, I was so miserable. Christian got home from school, and I had just slept on the couch the entire day. My voice, it was gone. And he took me, and then finally tested positive for the flu. And that's where I got all my medicines, and that finally helped me out some.
Yeah.
For that whole week, I was gone. And then Christian went back a few days later, and that's when he tested positive for the flu. I'm like, great, now we're just passing it back and forth.
Yeah.
No. So that was hard. And I can't remember the last time I was sick. It had to have been COVID, which was in like 2021.
Right.
And that was years ago. I took being healthy for granted. You get sick and you're like, man, I miss not having all the time, feeling normal.
What have you been reading? Did you get any reading done while you were sick or anything?
So it took me a while to read The Silent Patient and From Blood and Ash, but I eventually finished those. I finished those just this past week. I did not expect the plot twist in The Silent Patient. You read that, didn't you?
No, me either. It was crazy.
Oh my god. It was thinking of every possibility ever, and none of them was that. Nope. So I was very, very shocked. I really enjoyed that. And then From Blood and Ash, I'm shocked that you have not read that book because I kid you not. That might be a 5-star for you. I read it. You're the only person I was thinking about. I was like, how has Haley not read this book yet? So please put it more at the top of your TBR.
Did you listen to like the dramatized version?
I did, and I really loved it. That man, his name is Hawk. He's the love interest, and I am all for him. Oh, okay. And then
need to read it so bad.
Yes, and then A Kingdom of Flesh and Fire, I've started reading. I'm halfway through that one. That's the second book in the From Blood and Ash series. Yeah. I'm really loving that one too. It takes place immediately after the first book. Oh, the scene continues at the start of chapter 1, which is really good because From Blood and Ash kind of ended on a kind of a cliffhanger. So anyways, what about you? Tell me, what have you been reading?
I have finished The House of My Mother. And if y'all don't know what that is a memoir of a girl named Sherry Frankie. She was in the 8 Passengers YouTube. If y'all know what that is, have you heard of that, McCayleigh?
No, tell me.
So it was all in the news. So there was this mom named Ruby, and she was this Utah Mormon mother who would kind of vlog their day-to-day life, and everyone thought that it was just like a normal family. When I was in middle school, I would follow them and watch all their videos, but it turns out the mom was going crazy with this cult leader basically, and the daughter was just explaining their life, and it turns out the kids were being locked up in the basement, I think, like the younger kids, without being fed, with no bed or anything. So it was crazy. I read it, and the daughter talks about what people don't know about kids that are being vlogged and how they don't have any sort of say. into their lives. So it's so sad. It makes me rethink everything, and I don't really follow any mommy bloggers now because it just made me cry. The ending was so sad.
That is so sad. That it kind of reminds me of the Jeanette McCurdy book.
Yes.
I mean, they're two totally different worlds, but that's so sad. I hate that.
Her mom now is in jail. The cult leader's in jail. I mean, it was just crazy. But besides that, I also started the Red Queen series. That I've talked about the last couple of episodes. Everyone's saying that Powerless is the same as Red Queen. I read the first 2 books, and yes, it is so similar. There is a girl that I follow on TikTok and YouTube, and she did the side-by-side comparison of certain scenes in Red Queen and certain scenes in Powerless. They are written the exact way. The dialogue is word for word the exact same. So it's kind of crazy.
What?
But here's my thing. If I was to pick which one was my favorite, I would say Powerless.
Really?
Powerless is written so much better than Red Queen, but it's like a knockoff of Red Queen. It's the exact same. It's the same book, basically.
Wow. Dang. Is Glass sorry.
Glass
I'm reading
Sword.
Your notes.
Sword, that's the second book, so I just finished that. It was the same as Reckless, pretty much.
What?
Yeah.
So the guy was just chasing her and bringing her back? That was like the plot of Glass Sword?
Pretty much. The plot of Glass Sword is that she's with one brother, but then one brother wants to bring her back to the kingdom, and he's fighting to find her, and she's with this other brother off doing their own thing. It's the same. It is so similar. It's crazy.
Does the other brother want to marry her?
Well, yeah, they were engaged. Like, they were engaged to be married in the first book.
Oh my god.
So, yes.
What?
It is crazy. And I'm listening to the third one right now. What is the third one called? The third one is called King's Cage. And it is so similar to the ending of Reckless. It's like I'm reading the same books over and over, but the characters just have different names.
Wow. That's just
But
so
I am pushing myself because I just want to know if there's anything different at all. But
no, that's so interesting. Okay, you're going to be excited about this, but I'm really, really, really wanting to get into Harry Potter. Like,
oh my god, I'm gonna scream!
Oh my god, no, what were we doing yesterday? All night last night, me and Christian were playing Lego Harry Potter on the Switch. And I was like, this makes me want to play Hogwarts Legacy. And this makes me want to watch the Harry Potter movie.
Yeah.
Now I want to read the Harry Potter book.
Yes!
We
my
were
god.
Just playing the storyline. I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go back and play the game still. But yeah, so I'm really wanting to get into that. So
yeah.
Maybe,
oh my god, please.
Yes, maybe by like a few episodes from now, I'll have read at least the first book.
And you can read a book, then watch the movie.
Yeah.
And the guy on Audible who does it has the most perfect voice ever. I love him so much. So if you're gonna listen to him, he has such a good voice.
I will probably listen. I'm excited.
I'm so excited. I love Hogwarts Legacy. My dad has it on, my sister has it on their Xbox back home.
So cool.
So when I go home, I log in, but I'm on their accounts, and I'm playing as them, just walking around Hogwarts.
Dude, I'm surprised that you don't have the game yourself somewhere.
We don't have any sort of
oh my gosh.
Xbox or whatever. We don't have any of that.
Well, the new Switch was just released, so
I know. See, Edgar
put it on your list.
Edgar has a Switch, but it's at his parents' house. And every time we go over there, I'm like, bring this home. And then we always forget. So he needs to bring it with him the next time we go.
I don't know if there's like a multiplayer mode on. I don't think there is. But if there was, we could play with each other. Like
I know.
Expo Patronum.
Gosh.
Oh, is that what it is?
Expecto Patronum.
Oh, okay. I was close.
Yeah, you were.
No, I did learn 2 spells last night on the Lego world. It was Lumos.
Yeah.
And the levitation, the...
What's it called, McCayleigh? What you trying to say?
There's a levitation.
Leviosa.
Leviosa,
yeah.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I learned those 2.
Oh my gosh.
I know which
I'm
ones
so
to press.
excited. I did not expect this at all because I didn't think you were gonna read them or watch the movies.
I didn't think so either. I don't know. I've just been down a rabbit hole a little bit.
It's so good. The series, like how it progresses, it just gets better and better. And it can't get better than this. And it does. It's
yes. So good. And then another thing, at the time of recording this, TikTok was supposed to be banned last night.
Yeah.
Which it was like,
how did we not talk about this?
I know. Yeah, so it was gone last night. And then earlier today, I was back on. So it's temporarily back, apparently.
Last night, me and my sisters stayed on FaceTime until it got banned. And then until 1 o'clock in the morning, we were sending each other Facebook Messenger videos and Instagram reels. And we were like, this is not the same. This is not the same. And my sisters were tweaking out. Oh my God. And I was like, me too, Loki. But it was gone for like 15 hours and now it's back. I saw a meme. It was the SpongeBob and Patrick going to jail. And he closes the door. He's like, okay, you're free. Yeah. The US people, all the Americans. Literally. Okay, we're back at TikTok. So I know. And I made like a post for it on my Instagram. I'm making a post for it on our Instagram, like, welcome Book Talk refugees. Do I need to delete this now? Nah, just leave it. Everyone and their dog was posting the same TikTok error message. Yeah. Yep. We are working with the U.S. courts. Yeah. TikTok is banned. This is what the world is now. It's, freaking out over TikTok. If anything, it only made it more popular. So, like, literally, yeah. I was like, they're just giving us a little teaser about how life would be without it. And we were all freaking out. Yes. And everyone's signing up anyways for Red Note, which is the Mandarin version. See, basically, I signed up for it, and then I got on it, and I was like, I don't know what this says, and I'm not going to put too much effort into figuring out how to make it English, so I just deleted it. Yeah, I haven't even downloaded the app, but I haven't gone on it yet, so I don't know. I can't imagine working that hard because I miss TikTok. I was like, I don't have the energy to go to Google, figure out what this means in Mandarin. I'm not going to put that much effort into it. Gosh, but we don't have to anymore because it's back, at least for now. So, but well, I think it's time that we get into the book of this episode, which is ACOTAR Breakdown. Yes. And McCayleigh, do you want to hit us with the summary? Yeah, so ACOTAR. When Feyre Archeron, a mortal huntress, kills a wolf in the woods, she's taken to the Fey realm of Prythian as punishment. There, she discovers the truth behind her captor, Tamlin, and the curse plaguing his court. As she falls for him, Feyre must risk everything to save him and his people. But her life changes after facing Amarantha, and in the aftermath, Feyre is thrust into the Night Court with Rhysand. As Feyre uncovers hidden powers within herself and navigates dangerous alliances, she learns of a greater threat looming over Prythian. Filled with romance, political intrigue, and battles for freedom, this series explores Feyre's journey of self-discovery, love, and sacrifice as she becomes a key figure in the fight to save her world from destruction. So, tell me your favorite two books. Okay. A Court of Mist and Fury, of course. Obvious reasons. We've got Rhysand finally telling Feyre, that he's her mate and everything like that. And also ACOWAR. This one I haven't seen a lot of people say is their favorite, but I think I love this one so much because it reminds me of the Throne of Glass series with the fighting and everything. So I think that's kind of why I kind of lean towards ACOWAR and gravitate towards it. Yeah, I never see anyone say they like it either, but it is such a good book. There's so much action, and that's when everything that we've been waiting for happens, you know? So I do like that one too, but if I had to pick just two favorites, it would also be Mist and Fury, of course, and then A Court of Silver Flames, because it's so different than the rest of the series, and now it's like, okay, where else can the series go? It's going in a bit of a new direction now. Yeah. But Nesta, this is her whole redemption book, and I know some people still don't like her even after this book, but I do. And it's just so much more aggressive and fiery, and she's giving Aelin. Nesta, like the attitude part of it all. Yeah. It's she's like very forceful, very aggressive. Yeah. So I don't know. I'm into that. It's something like always is happening. But we also went ahead and we asked you guys, our followers, what your favorite book in the series was. So we're about to go ahead and check out some of y'all's responses. Okay. Y'all's favorite book is A Court of Mist and Fury. That's with 65% of you guys. ACOWAR actually comes second with 24%. So maybe there's more than I realized.
Yeah, at least on the internet, just scrolling. I never see anyone
Me
say
either.
Akatar is my favorite.
Yeah.
It's because Mist and Fury is everyone's top dog.
Yeah.
But I get it, yeah. And very rarely do I see the first book. I don't think.
Well, yeah. Well, here, ACOTAR and A Court of Silver Flames, they both got 6%. So those few people. So if you could pick 3 favorite characters from this series, what would your 3 be?
So one would be Rhys. But I will say, he made me so mad in Silver Flames.
Ew. Yes.
And no one talks about it, and I feel like sometimes when I talk about how mad or how I'm disliking him in that book, people kind of give me a crazy look. Like, what do you mean?
No, I agree.
And I'm like, no, he is not telling Feyre. It just makes me mad.
And also, we're getting Rhysand from a different point of view other than this woman who is madly in love with him.
He's not perfect.
It puts Rhysand in a different light, and you kind of think of him like, dang, he's kind of not nice.
Yeah, but I just think it's so important to know if my life is endangered or not because of a pregnancy. Yeah. That's kind of that miscommunication a little bit. Just, chill or I'm going to strangle you.
Yeah.
But anyways, and then I also chose Feyre and then Cassian just for giggles because he's a character. I like him. But what about you? What are your top 3?
I picked kind of not main ones.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I'm reading my notes like, why?
Why?
But my first one is the serial. I love the serial because the serial is so drama, and I love that. But also, I really like Lucien. I think that Lucien has a lot of growth to do in the next book, whatever it's about. But everyone's saying it's going to be about Elaine, so hopefully he'll have a lot of growth in the next book. I think he is such an interesting character. Starting off in the first ACOTAR book with Feyre, and they become these kind of unconventional friends. I love that. And then also Amryn. Amryn is so interesting, and I have so many theories about her and where she came from. I just love her so much.
Yeah, so getting into theories, there's so many theories about ACOTAR.
There is honestly so many. Yeah. What is like your favorite theory?
Well, okay, so this one, ever since I finished the book, which book was it? It might have been Silver Flames, but we go in a little more about Moore, or it might be Wings and Ruin.
Yeah.
We learn more about Moore. I think she's gonna be a bad guy, or is a bad guy, undercover. I really
We'll get into that. That's one of the questions. Moore, you are so suspicious. No.
She's painted Eris as a villain for leaving her to die after their broken betrothal. But Eris is over here hinting that there's more to the story than Moore is letting on. And why have Eris say these things if not to let the fans kind of pick up on these details? What is she hiding? So I do think she's got something up her sleeve, and I think it's going to have an impact in either Elaine's book or after. So I'm really excited about that. But what is one of yours? One of your theories?
Well, going off of yours, I totally agree. There is a theory that I have seen that Eris and Moore are actually mates. And that is why she didn't want to be with him or something along those lines. But I've seen that pop up a few times. And I'm like, that would be so interesting.
There's so much she could do with that Sarah J. Maas could do with that. I need to know.
Here is my all-time favorite theory for ACOTAR. I saw it one day on TikTok and I was like, this is my new personality if anyone asks. But I think that Lucien and Tamlin are switching in and out at times. And it's actually, when it's really Lucien, it's actually Tamlin.
Wow.
I know.
I read that. I was like, what? But he is a shapeshifter.
It makes sense. Like, once you get in, like, down into it, Tamlin, you know, here's the thing. Elaine is supposedly Lucien's mate, but she never wants to do anything with Lucien. So maybe Elaine is just thinking something's not right here. She doesn't trust them, and something's being hidden from her. And maybe Tamlin is actually Lucien. Like, they're switching in and out. Because Tamlin is a shapeshifter. Even though we know that he's only shifted into his wolf form, we know that when he gave his powers to Feyre, Feyre was able to shapeshift into other things.
Yeah.
So it kind of makes sense. I don't know. Also, Elaine is just so well suited for the spring court and the gardening lifestyle. So I would not be surprised if Tamlin's just been pretending to be Lucian just so he could get in the little inner circle and, I guess, convince Elaine to go back to the spring court with him. Her whole personality just screams spring court.
Yeah, no, I agree. And what reason did she have for rejecting him? You know what I mean?
I don't know.
Like, if not something like that, then what reason?
Oh.
I don't know if there really is one that we know of. I think there's a lot of mystery, like, around Azriel's love life.
Yes.
So this kind of ties into one of my theories, because who gonna actually end up with? Because everyone wants Elaine and Azriel, I think, to end up together. Mm-hmm. And even though she's, mated with Lucian. And but I thought it was kind of sweet that there's a theory going around that it could be Gwen and Azriel. I really liked Gwen in the books. And I don't know. I think Azriel and Gwen share more moments. Like, I'm trying to, remember, too, what happened in the books.
I know, me too.
But that was what everyone was talking about, was Azriel and Gwen versus Azriel and Elaine.
Especially after you read the extra chapter that came with... I don't remember what book, Frost and Starlight or Silver Flames, where it's Azriel giving a necklace.
Yeah.
And then he re-gifts it. So it makes you think.
I need to reread all of this so I can...
I know, me too.
Take it all in again. It's hard for me to come up with theories. I just read the books and I just wait for the next thing to happen. I hardly think about it. But I'm looking at our notes and I see another really interesting theory that you have. And it's about the witches. So you want to go ahead and get into that?
So I think that the Archeron sisters have witch bloodlines through their mom, and each sister is actually a representative of the 3 different witch clans. So this theory has kind of been thrown around for a while, guys, because there is a bed in their cottage. In the first book, it's explained to be an ironwood bed, and this is mentioned to be the most expensive thing that they have in their house, and it's also a family heirloom. In Throne of Glass, the Iron Teeth witches use ironwood brooms, and in Crescent City, Jasiba, I didn't listen to them, I just read. She has an ironwood desk. In Crescent City, the first book, Hypaxia mentions to Rune that witch heritages can pop up randomly in human lines and manifest in different powers, such as a seer, which kind of goes into Elaine, a warrior, which kind of goes into Nesta. As far as Feyre goes, I don't know what hers would be, but those first 2 we have definitely heard from in the Archeron sisters, so... Dang. Who knows? It's very interesting. I'm wondering where they even got that bed to begin with, what family member it was.
I'm out of theories. You out-theoried me.
I have one more. I didn't really make a lot of notes on it, but there is another theory. It's been thrown around that Rhysand is actually Vogue, or is related to Maeve, because the way that his powers are written in the ACOTAR books are described so similarly to Maeve's powers, because they're described as using claws to peer into people's minds. So it makes you wonder if he is Vogue related or if he's related to Maeve. I don't know.
I can totally see all of this working out, though, because, I mean, all these worlds are proven to be connected because Aelin literally, spoiler alert, fell through the worlds and saw them all. So, all of these are totally feasible.
Yeah.
So,
for sure.
I would love to get, answers. I hope she
Well, going back to Elaine, who do you want her to be with? Or who do you think she'll be with?
Yeah, so I think fans everywhere will be mad if it's not Azriel. I feel like that shipping might be more than Lucian. I don't know, but there's a lot of Lucian fans. I can see myself being a fan of his too. But my soul can compromise, and I will be content if Elaine ends up with Lucian and Gwen ends up with Azriel. Because now we got this trio of girls, Nesta, Gwen, and I can't remember the other third girl's name.
I don't remember.
It's been a minute. So, I don't know. I think we're going to learn more about those 2 girls, too, and see what happens with them. So, I think there's going to be, lots of relationships coming up. Yeah. And I feel like everyone's going to end up with somebody. So, I feel like to make it work, Sarah might do Elaine and Lucian and then Gwen and Azriel because they have a short little past. But what about you? What is your take?
I am the same. I wish Elaine would be with Azriel because then it's like all three sisters are with all three of the Bat Boys, which is so cool, but it's also a little cliche, and I'm not sure if Sarah J. Maas would do that. I don't think she will end up with Lucian. Like I said with my theory, I think that she is going to be mated to Tamlin. I will die on this. I will die on this hill. I'm sorry.
Tamlin. Yeah.
It's Tamlin, and I don't know.
I mean, she is perfect for the spring court.
Yes.
But that would be insane.
And I don't really see her being with Azriel, honestly, because Azriel is so dark. And it's like night and day. They're so completely different. Mm-hmm. But, I mean, opposites do attract, but they are so opposite that I'm like,
you have to have something in common. Yeah.
Yeah.
Too bad it didn't start with Elaine and Tamlin, because I think Elaine would have been content being the housewife in the pretty dresses and things.
Yeah, no,
But she would not have, faced Amarantha by any means, but too bad it wouldn't have ended up differently.
Hopefully we get some news from Sarah J. Maas about the next book in this series. Instead, she hit us with these special editions from Barnes & Noble. Did you see them?
No, I didn't. What?
Oh my God. Okay.
What? I'm about to pull up my phone. What?
So, she released new editions for the whole ACOTAR series. They have black sprayed edges and they have black covers. Everyone is saying that they're kind of disappointed that she did this. I wish that it would have been a different cover. I wish she would have just said, this is when my next book is coming out, because I am not going to buy these special editions, even though I love this series. They're kind of boring.
Yeah, everything is black and gray.
Yes. Yeah.
Like that's the covers and the edges. Yeah, that's insane.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cool to have a special edition, but I prefer the color.
Yeah, me too.
What?
Why do we need another special edition of the ACOTAR series? I'm like, Sarah, just tell us when the book is coming out.
Yeah.
That's all we want to know.
It's been too long. Please.
It's been forever, yeah.
No release date, no title reveal, cover reveal, nothing.
I know.
So, it makes me sad.
Well, going off of another sister, how does Nesta's journey in A Court of Silver Flames sort of compare to Feyre's journey throughout the books?
Yeah, so I think their journeys definitely just explore different paths of healing and empowerment. And Feyre's arc really focuses more on this kind of external resilience where she steps into leadership and she finds her self-worth through partnership and others and action. And then you have Nesta over here, and she's going through so much internal conflict, and she really has to learn to accept herself and overcome all this guilt, and she really learns to reclaim her identity. And I think that Feyre, she has the Night Court to lean on for all the support, and Nesta has to really work to build up her own support system through her bond with just like two girls, which are Gwen and Emery, and that's her name. Emery.
I forgot.
I know. And but I think both sisters, they highlight very different approaches to trauma and recovery, and they show that healing is definitely unique to each individual. Feyre had the whole Night Court on her side, and then Nesta is locked up alone in a house and has to figure it out. We got Cassian and then Gwen and Emery. And that's really all she really had. But
when A Court of Silver Flames first opens with the first few chapters, I just felt so bad for Nesta about her living conditions and her being so hard on herself. It was so sad. Yeah. But I agree with you. Both Feyre and Nesta's arcs are so powerful, but in completely different ways. Feyre's story is really tied to her responsibilities, while Nesta's are all about her internal battles with herself and learning to let people in, especially with her new bond with Cassian and her training with the girls in the Valkyries. Completely different, but I love them.
Yeah, I loved this book, Silver Flames. I can't really relate to Nesta. I don't think I'm as negative as she is.
Right.
But it does touch a part of you, and I feel for you. So I really like that. But how do we feel about Tamlin? Okay. And does he deserve a redemption arc? Because Nesta got hers. Yeah. So what do we think about Mr. Tamlin?
No, I think we will definitely get Like I've said, guys, I love that theory that I talked about. I'm not sure if he even deserves a redemption arc, especially what we just learned about how he played a role in killing Rhysand's mom and sister. That's such a huge betrayal, and it's hard to imagine someone ever coming back from something so awful. You know, Tamlin is complicated. He's got his own traumas. I don't think that excuses the choices that he made and how he treated others. It's just frustrating because he had so much potential early on, but then once we started getting into A Court of Mist and Fury, we're learning about him locking Feyre up and not allowing her to know certain things. I don't know. It's hard.
Yeah.
It's so hard to say.
Yeah, I feel like he's kind of an afterthought now. Why go back and give him this redemption arc? We've already moved on. That's me a little bit. I mean, if your theory is true, then we will need a redemption arc, okay? But I do kind of think he did have his redemption moment, and I think that's what Sarah J. Maas intended it to be, was, I can't remember who was trying to escape. It was Feyre, if it was Feyre and Rhys, or Feyre and someone, they were trying to escape the bad guys.
When Rhysand got hurt.
Yeah,
Is that what you're talking
Tamlin,
about?
I think so. Tamlin shifted. He was in his like little spiritual wolf form and decided to hold off the bad guys instead of escaping with them or something.
Yeah.
And they left. And I don't remember what book it was. I don't remember.
And there was also a part where Tamlin was telling Feyre to be happy, and I think he gave a part of himself to Rhys. Guys, I haven't read this book in like 2.5 years.
Yeah, it's been a minute.
I'm trying to remember as much as I can. Maybe I'm just making that up. But didn't Rhysand get hurt similarly to how Feyre got hurt? And like she needed...
Yeah, no, Rhys did get hurt. They might have been like escaping, but she like got flowers or something to make a medicine and saved him in the cave.
That's when the serial was like your mate, basically.
Yeah. And then didn't they go to the Illyrian camp after that? Is that same scene? That same book?
I don't know.
I don't know either. That's when she learned, though, that he was her mate. They were at the Illyrian camp. I do know that. But that's all I remember.
Okay, Tamlin resurrected Rhysand at the end of A Court of Wings and Ruin, and he tells Feyre, "Be happy, Feyre." And Feyre sends him a letter through Lucien just wishing him, I guess, a good life. So he did give a part of himself to Rhysand. I didn't make that up. I remembered a little bit.
I do not remember that at all. I hardly remember him dying. What? I feel like I forgot he died, I guess, is what I'm saying. Because he did die, but then I totally did not remember Tamlin. Like, it's been a minute. I've read a lot of books since then. I need to reread that for sure.
I know, me too. So this question we've kind of touched base on at the beginning, but it has been speculated that someone within the inner circle will betray the others. Who do we think it will be?
Yeah, more, of course. Yeah. I really think so. We touched on it earlier. I don't think she's telling the full truth. I think Eris is hinting towards she did something that not everyone knows about, but I know what she did. And I feel like he's going to be the one to reveal it, and then there's going to be a fight or something.
Yeah.
And she also has a lot of stuff happening in Hone City. Hone City? I don't know how it's said, but that's where she is. Mm-hmm. And that's where she's gone all the time. What are you doing over there?
Yeah,
who are you talking to? Who are your connections? Are these about to be our next bad guys? We don't know. So, but what about you? Tell me yours.
I totally agree. I think it could be more. Don't get me wrong, I love her as a character, but when you think about it, we actually don't know that much about her. There's just this underlining feeling that Moore is holding something back from us, and I would not be surprised if Sarah J. Maas dropped this huge bombshell that Moore has been playing a longer game than anyone realized.
Yeah.
She's got so many secrets, and isn't her thing like Truth Slayer?
What does that
even mean?
I know.
Like, what is that about?
Yeah, so how perfect of a, story would it be if she's not telling the truth, even though...
Right.
I think that's where we're headed, for sure. Yeah. So, for A Court of Frost and Starlight, do you think that book added value to the series, or would you call it unnecessary?
This is hard because I actually really liked it.
I did too.
And I think that this is we have unpopular opinions. It's just like a short Christmas little novella special. I loved getting the cozy vibes and seeing the characters outside of this huge war that they had in ACOTAR, and a court of Frost and Starlight kind of let them do their own thing with their little Christmassy moment. Plus, I really enjoyed getting the little glimpses of Azriel and Gwen and Elaine in their extra chapter there.
Yeah, I feel like calling a book in a series unnecessary adds a devaluing factor to it.
Right.
And like that's not it at all either. So even though that yes, we could do without this book, we would still know what's happening. I do think it was still super nice to have like this breather and a chance to see all these characters in a quiet and, you know, more intimate setting after all of this chaos in Akavor. And I just really enjoyed all of these like little slice of life moments. And it really hinted at Nesta's book and her downward spiral and, you know, Azriel's subtle little story threads. And I really appreciate stuff like that because I'm like, okay, there's not a lot going on. This is a lot of character development here that we're getting to learn to know more about our characters. So I hate using the word unnecessary when it comes to a series. And I mean, there's still plot. This whole series is shifting now that this war is over. I mean, we just had Nesta's book. It was a whole shift. Nesta's book, there's something else entirely happening now. It's the plot has changed. So I think it was a good way to transition into her book. So I stand on that hill. It makes
me think. I feel like the next book may be another short book. I'm wondering if the next book will be, spoiler alert, Crescent City. If you haven't read it, skip ahead. But I'm wondering if the next book will be about everything before House of Flame and Shadow. I have to look behind me to see what the name is. But I'm wondering if it will be a short little novella about Feyre, Rhysand, and their baby Nyx before House of Flame and Shadow. I think it might be something short, and then maybe we'll get into Elaine's book, because Sarah has been writing a lot, especially with Flame and Shadow. That was a pretty hefty book there. Yeah. So it would not surprise me if she's just writing something like short and simple this time.
Yeah. I
hope not.
Yeah,
I hope not. I mean, I would love it. I would read it. I would buy it. But I would love something longer.
Yeah. I agree. So let's get into like kind of a few fun hypotheticals. So if you were High Fae, which court would you belong to and why?
I wish that I could say the Autumn Court because I love the vibes of Autumn, and it just sounds like it came straight out of like a little rom-com type of book, straight out of a dream. But I could not live there because of their High Lord. Just sounds crazy, and I'm kind of scared. But second choice would be the Summer Court. Totally different, but there is just something appealing about endless sunshine and being like at the beach, in the water. It just feels like the best summer vacation, and it will just never end.
I really like that. I wish I could say Winter Court, and I think it's just so pretty, and I think I would thrive there. But after further research, I think I'm scared of them. So I think I'm really intimidated. I don't know if I could be happy there. I think I would just be scared in a corner the whole time. But it's very pretty. So I would choose it based on aesthetic. But if I were High Fae, I think I'd really be in the Night Court. One, we just learned so much about it in these books. What's not to love? And then I just think I'm really just drawn to all of like deep emotional connections with everyone. Everyone's so close knit, and I just think it would be so beautiful. They make it out to be so gorgeous, and a place to just, you know, heal from past trauma, just have your individuality on display all the time. You have so much freedom. And I just love the idea of living in Valeris and a city full of light and stars, and where creativity thrives. And I just would love to be friends with, you know, Rhys and Feyre, everyone, all that inner circle, and they just share just a strong sense of like loyalty and camaraderie. It would be something I'd really appreciate. So
I love that.
So which side character deserves their own spin-off story?
This one I had to think about for a while because there's so many minor characters in the ACOTAR series, but one that I'm super drawn to, I talked about it earlier, but it's Amryn. She is so interesting. I want to know where she came from and how she ended up being Rhysand's right-hand woman. We don't know so much about her. She's so unique. We know that she is from another world, and she's not from Perithian because she gave up her power to stay there. I would love to kind of dive deeper into that life before she made, the bargain to be stuck in Perithian. I also would like to know her story about her and, her partner that she has now. I don't remember his name.
Yeah.
But they sound just so cute together, and I would love to get a book in her point of view.
Yeah, I agree. I also say Amren, she's made out to be some god, or used to be some god. How cool. You have so much to say. Why did you choose to give it all up? I want to know more. I want to know everything. So I think there's so much you could do with it, and it could stand on its own, just her story. But also, I do think another fun side story would be, the Surreal. What if, what was it, 2 episodes ago?
The Throne of Glass episode?
Yeah, we talked about how Caltaine might be the Surreal. What if the side story was a whole past novella kind of type thing of how the Surreal came to be? Yes. That would be pretty cool too. I would dig it. I would pick it up and read it.
Well, what better way, guys, to end this episode with a quiz for McCayleigh? We are doing an ACOTAR personality quiz today. This quiz will be posted on our Instagram and Facebook page, so you can follow along with her as she takes it, so you can see who you get. But it is going to be which ACOTAR character you are. Are you ready, McCayleigh?
I am.
What's your biggest strength? Your fierce loyalty and protective nature, your creativity and compassion, your determination to rise above challenges, or your charm and ability to bring people together?
Creativity and compassion.
How would your friends describe you? A natural leader who always has their back, kind-hearted but quietly powerful, tough on the outside but deeply passionate, or the life of the party and everyone's favorite confidant?
I would say number 2. The second one B, yeah.
All right. What motivates you the most? Keeping loved ones safe no matter what, finding meaning and making the most of your gifts, providing strength and overcoming obstacles, or creating joy and memories with the people you care about?
I'll say D. Creating memories, yeah.
Okay. How do you handle conflict? You stand firm and protect what matters most. You stay calm and find a way to compromise. You face it head on, no hesitation, or you diffuse the situation with humor and empathy.
B. Yeah.
You stay calm and find a way to compromise. So, mostly B's. You've got 3 B's and 1 D. You are Feyre. Compassionate and creative with a quiet but unshakable strength.
Wow, who was D? Who was that?
D was more charismatic, fun-loving, and always lifting up those around you.
Okay.
C's are Nesta, and A's are Rhysand.
Wow, I liked that quiz.
You are so similar to Feyre. We did a quiz a while back, and I think you got Elaine. And I was like, we love Elaine, but you just give off so much Feyre energy because you are so creative.
Thank you. Oh my god. As we were taking that quiz, I'm like, Haley could take this quiz for me. I feel like,
no, literally.
You probably take this quiz for me. Oh my gosh.
Well, guys, that's a wrap on today's episode of Two Chicks and a Plot Twist. We hope you enjoyed hearing our thoughts about our ACOTAR breakdown. We would love to hear your thoughts about this episode, so send us a message or a comment on our socials.
Yes, thank you guys so much for listening and supporting us. If you're interested in being a guest on our podcast, check out our Instagram or Facebook page at Two Chicks and a Plot Twist. There is a sign-up form in our Linktree. From our Linktree, you can also visit our website and sign up for our email newsletter.
Yes, and guys, you can follow me on Instagram at Haleys.books.
And you can follow me on Instagram at McCayleigh Daniels.
Join us for our next episode. We are breaking down the final Sarah J. Maas series, which is Crescent City, and I am so excited for this one. I have got so many theories, and I cannot wait for y'all to listen.
And you can expect a podcast episode from us every Thursday. See you next time. Bye!
Bye!